And then it was, I started thinking, and right now, while I'm listening to you guys there at UNC, until now, Google has showed itself like a very horizontal, I don't know if democratic is a word, but at least horizontal company that wants to include everything, okay? And smash these hierarchies that we normally know by traditional media. But at the end of the day, I kept on thinking, Google has made it that, has put the rules of the game in this way right now. But will they keep on going on this way forever? I mean, is it convenient as them as a company that creates media, that creates information, that creates power at the end, you know? Information is power. Are they always going to be like this? I mean, what would happen if suddenly Google has reached the goals of a global company as they expect to be in the next years? And I mean, who's gonna, how do you say that in English? Guardar a los guardianes. Who?
Watch the watchdog or watch the watchman?
Who are going to watch the watchdogs? Until right now, there's no necessity because the guys are, you know, transforming or destroying the hierarchical, you know, model of traditional media. But what's going to happen tomorrow when they become the tradition? You know, what's going to go in this new flat world?
That's good, and it's a great introduction to the next question on the slide here. When, okay, Google, they have the control, but they're also allowing us to participate into their control. So I believe we had someone who was going to address the issues of empowerment, access, creation, exposure. Anybody here in this room have that? Who was it? No? Someone in UNC?
UNC, here we go.
Hello, this is Andrea.
Andrea?
I guess yeah. Hi. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No? Maybe? Okay. I wanted to, hello?
That's good.
Okay. I wanted to comment on empowerment. Sorry, we have an echo over here. Empowerment, as I understand it, is pertaining to how certain parts of the world can't be flat because they're left behind with technology that the other half of the world has that makes it so-called flat. Populations that are severely impoverished and where the main concern is the physiological needs of survival really aren't being encompassed in what we see as the new flat world. And in order for them to become part of the emerging flat world, they need to have access to those basic things, preceding technology. That's it.
So, Andrea, are you suggesting that these parts of the world that don't have access, maybe perhaps once they do get access, they might even lose part of who they are, part of their world? Is that what you're saying a little bit? They got to play ball?
I wasn't specifically saying that, but that is a direct effect of a flat world, is that lessening of culture and diversity and what makes every country and people distinct.
Great, yeah, and I think that's the double-edged sword of this game, is that if everybody has a voice, and they're all speaking the same language, you know, language meaning the metaphor here. You know, some of those languages will get lost, perhaps.
Let me push a little bit here. There's a big issue here that we can express it in these terms. When we say that we all have access to technology, we don't really say all, okay? we say all people that are like us, and it's not the whole world. Technology has become, something that is affecting most of the world and a lot of people. But I mean, if we check the numbers, we can easily see how a huge part of the population of the world don't have access to technology. And when we're talking about we or the world, we are really talking about a part of the world, not all the world, okay? We have huge population in Africa and Asia, even in Latin America, that don't have access to internet, that don't have access to a lot of things. So again, really we're talking about, so the question here is, I mean, at some point, will technology really turn out to be something that will encourage the participation of all human beings? This may seem a little bit dreamy, but I mean, shouldn't that be the goal, And or maybe in some years, the only thing that will happen is that we will have two worlds, the world that is connected and democratic and participate and everything, and the other world that is just contemplating what the rest of the world. I mean, and it's not far from reality. We can see today China. Everybody talks about China, the success of the country. And we don't realize, or I hope we realize, that when we're talking about the success of China, we're talking about the success of 300 million people. All the rest of China, that is a huge part of China, is still living under, living circumstances that would throw them to the Middle Ages, still today, 21st century. So at the end, the question remains, I mean, will technology at some point really be, what can communicate, can engage all humankind, or it's going to be, again, as it has always been in modern times, technology is to make a difference between first-class citizens of the world and second-class citizens of the world.
Yeah, and I would reiterate that there's. Oh, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna. What you just said, Enrique, reminded me of the reading from last week. I think it was Schechner when he talked about the defining point of this century is the information line / the information gap, and it's the same thing you're just talking about, the information / technology rich and information poor, that being kind of the dividing line, and what's that going to look like in the future?
Yeah, certainly. That's the measuring stick that we're using these days. And then I would raise the question, well, if everybody has access, then is that a plural world or is it a uni world? I'll leave that for you guys for the last thought on this slide. Okay, please, Alex, go ahead.
Turn on the microphone, please. Just check that.
It's already go. Well, hello, this is Alejandro. I think that this has to do a lot with public opinion, in the sense that it's already difficult for public opinion to reach the media. I mean, you can do it, or people can do it through letters to the stations, to radio stations or TV or things like this, but it's already difficult. And I mean that with this term convergence, yes, the media is also gonna converge. So it's gonna be even more difficult for public opinion to reach its point, or to reach the destination where it has or wants to be. No, that's what I think.
It's going to be difficult.
Yes, if it's difficult already, it's going to be more difficult, because like for example, television and radio, it's supposed that in a not very distant time is going to converge because of the signals and something about that.